Today on Drawbli, I am drawing.
What are you drawing, Ben?
Click that subscribe button if you are new around here.
And comment below with ideas of what we can draw in the future.
Well, we have been doing some separate drawings apart from one another, so neither one of us has seen some of the stuff that we've done recently. Abby recently did some wrestling boys.
Rugby boys.
Rugby boys.
It's
yes,
pretty
rugby.
cool. Check it out.
With a hidden boy in there. It's a great
whole
time.
third boy we didn't even see.
I have a series of a bunch of different sketches, I guess you could call them, just quick portraits,
Cool.
all busts or just heads that I've done really quickly, as that is something that I wanted to focus on.
Look at you flipping your canvas.
I'm doing it all. I'm flipping the canvas of left, right, upside down, whatever.
Oh my goodness.
It's going all over the place.
So you're drawing a sculpt of Captain America.
Yes, yeah. So this artist over here, his name is Pablo Perdomo, a very talented digital sculptor. And I referenced some 3D artworks just because they actually have really good lighting on them, some really good shading. And I used that as an advantage to kind of simplify, to make sure that it had like some decent lighting that I could understand and read. And then my goal here was not accuracy. Obviously, I've already pushed really far away from that. But my goal with each of these was more so to use that as a base for like just getting started, to help inspire me, to give me a little bit of reference in terms of some proportions that I could head in. But as soon as I get started and as soon as like things start taking shape, I start leaning more into the direction that it's going rather than trying to spend a ton of time correcting. And like getting everything to be pixel perfect, because that's not what I'm trying to do with this exercise. So with this one specifically, I really wanted to be intentional with the steps of the process. So I got the flat colors, I started adding some shading, and then I started adding some lights. My intention with this piece as well was not to add like flat color. It was going to be black and white, but I was like, oh, instead of black and white, I'll give it some color, some reds, some blues, and just kind of play around with that. But in the end, I actually decided to just get rid of all the color and desaturate it completely, because it got a little away from me. It got a little messy with the color.
Things do happen.
But the values still read.
That's so important. I'm still struggling to get my values to read the way I want them to all the time. His eyes look good too. You did a good job.
It's the white. It's that little white farkle.
Little white farkle.
It's called the farkle.
Oh, goodness.
I've mentioned this before. But this piece was a lot of fun. Like I said, I didn't spend too much time on each of these. This one here was an hour. And I have, I think, like 4 more that we're going to look at. So there's a bunch of them.
Okay.
And I'll show a couple of them at the same time towards the end.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, I always love watching not just my stuff back, but your stuff back as well, because I actually learn a lot from not just watching yours, but watching mine as well, because I'm like, oh, why am I not doing this? Or why did I do it that way this time? Did that actually help? Was that working? Was that a waste of time?
The post-mortem, so valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's kind of one of my favorite parts about Drawbli, like what we do here in terms of like learning how to draw. If you're new around here, the whole point of what we do here on Drawbli is we're trying to get better at drawing. We started 8 months ago now?
Was it 8 months ago now? Wow.
October, November. Yeah, 8 months.
We're documenting our journey.
And we are documenting our
journey.
journey. Yeah, I mean, we're both, like, if you go back and look at some of our stuff from October of last year when we started, oh my gosh, like, we've grown so much already.
We really have.
And we're really excited to, keep improving and keep growing. And this is just one step in that direction here.
Yeah, already so much improvement compared to where we were when we first started. Even looking back, I remember when you first got your iPad. And you can even, so we have, works from that time.
Those were just horrible.
And you let me, I played on the iPad too, because back then I didn't have one. And it was so interesting. Those first few strokes and steps.
You being so new to
digital
art in general. Yeah, it's like, for me, at least I had worked in digital previously. But hey, there's the finished bust there.
He looks so good. I love that you left
you.
his eyes green too. He looks awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The next one's going to be a little shorter because this one I just worked with lines. I actually really liked the strategy here, but I'm working off of another sculpt again. This is what I actually prefer to use as some really nice reference because the color value, like it's completely gone. It's a flat material. There's no translucency from skin. It's just solid form that you can use as a reference. But this is a sculpt by the artist named Niyazi Selimoglu. I'll put a link to both of them down below in the description because I know both of those, Pablo Perdomo and Niyazi, are both kind of difficult to spell, so I'll put both of those down there. But yeah, kind of doing the same idea, using it as a rough or loose reference to kind of head in one direction and play off of. So with this one, I started off with just dark lines and used that to kind of block out my form. And then I went in over top of that, as you can see, with some near white lines and kind of used that for highlighting. And that is like my whole process for this entire piece. And this is like genuinely one of the most fun things I think I've ever made, like up to this point in Drawbli, even though it was just such a quick, simple thing. Just using lines for shading and highlighting was super cool. It was super fun. Like I absolutely love the way that this one turned out, and I absolutely love the process on this one.
I like that, you know, you're being very intentional still with your workflow. I think there's so much value too in practicing a workflow as part of becoming a better artist, not just the art itself, but the process itself. That is maybe overlooked by some people, at least overlooked by me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I try to focus on a lot of the time. But
yeah,
it kind of feels like a marker sketch,
yeah,
you know?
like a sketch. I love that. I love how that turned out. A lot of character, a lot of brightness and flow. All right, what have you got for us next?
All right, for the last two.
Oh my gosh.
It is 2 at the same time.
Both iPads left and right-handed? Wow.
At the exact same time. So people, if you have seen a previous episode, I don't remember which one exactly it was, but we showed off a short little section of my Andrew Garfield. Is that who that actor is? So the one on the left, though, is much more... I like both of these. Like, for me, these are some of the most fun things to do. Again, on the right, that is Pablo Perdomo, and on the left, Niyazi Selimoglu. These are just like really fun because I can use the sculpt as a nice kind of planar reference for that simple lighting. It has like this studio lighting that's just very easy to read. But then I can kind of take that and run with it.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Andrew Garfield on the right, I just kind of slapped something on there really quick, and whatever I was left with is what I got. You know, I kind of leaned into the stylization that I got there.
I like that, the stylization, and it turned out looking really cool.
Yeah, I loved it.
I love the idea of using sculpts as the reference because everything is so clear and intentional, and there's a lot of clarity in what you're looking at.
They make for some good references. The very specific reason why I use them is because of the lighting. If you're referencing a photo of somebody like outside, they are often under ambient lighting, or there's like a lot of complex stuff going on, and it can be really difficult for a beginner like us to read a lot of that information. But I mean, look at the image on the right. There is very clearly a single light source coming down from the top, shining on his face. It makes it extremely easy to see where the light, where the shadow is, and where like the planes of the face are changing direction, and you can figure that out.
I love the color you're bringing in on the left too.
Thank you. Yeah, I really got more expressive. Just kind of throwing in some of those colors really quick. But I knock a lot of that back.
Yeah.
I actually really like the kind of way that this one on the left turns out. I really like both of these. They were both both a lot of fun to work on.
It's fun to see them next to each other too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I drew them both at the exact same time, left and right hand. Yeah. But these, you know, all of these kind of fit into the same category, which is why I just kind of threw them all in one video. I thought it would give us a lot to kind of look at and talk about with each one. But yeah, just some simple character busts.
Such a valuable practice, like doing busts a few times in a row, different ones, admittedly, but just over and over. It's a form of iteration. Oh
yeah, absolutely. That, you know, this is there's actually I can't remember who started it, but it's called like the 100 bust or 100 head challenge or something like that. And there's actually a Pinterest board with 100 different images on it.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember the name of the artist. His logo's a bird with a little Wacom pen on it. It's something with an A. Somebody in the comments will let me know because I can't remember. But he started it, and a lot of people have done it since. And none of these that I'm drawing are on that list, but I really like the idea of working my way toward that goal. So
I like that too.
Here are my first 4 little busts heading in that direction.
I love it. The first 4. That one on the left, man, that's really cool how that's turning out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it gets better. It gets better.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It's already so good.
How could it possibly?
Yeah. Oh, I love what you ended up doing with the colors on this. I love the splash of red on his ear. I am very drawn to that and everything about this.
Subsurface scattering.
This
That's what
is
it's all about.
Very cool. No, that's my favorite one of all the 4 that you did here. Totally my favorite. I can't wait to see the very finished image.
Yeah, it does get better. I'm not exactly sure how to describe my process with that one on the left. It's very similar to what I've done with the other ones, but I kind of leaned into some of the saturation a little more and kind of fading some of that out. The closest thing that I've done that I think I could compare it to is, do you remember the whales that I did that were like, I think our prompt for that one was deep?
Yeah, depths.
Depths or something like that. And I threw in a bunch of these like saturated colors into that piece, but then I knocked a lot of it back. I faded it out.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I feel like I at least thrive the most is when I can create some exaggeration and then fade that back to a point where it's pushed, but it still works.
That is so cool. I want to get there
there
too. That looks so good. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is definitely my favorite one. I absolutely love all the colors, and you really nailed the reference. And yet now it looks like a painting, a painting.
Oh, well, that's good because I did paint it. So
I like the strokes on his neck, and I like his forehead and his cheek area. I like it all so much. He looks so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed working on all of these. Whether or not the finished piece kind of turned out good or not, it doesn't really matter because for me with these, it was definitely about just working towards a further off goal that I can't even visualize yet.
Right.
Well, hey, click that subscribe button if you are new around here.
And comment below with ideas of other things we can do to improve.
More heads.
More heads.
And this is the part where we say
goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
You did so many heads here, and I love the drop shadow you did on them too.
That's the secret. It's all about the drop shadow.
All about it.
That's what makes art good.
Good job.
Thank you.